Andrew's Workshop Projects Part 4. After the last visit, Andrew decided to revamp the Stuart Models 7A vertical steam engine. Now, in my opinion, the engine just looks wrong. Although, after I readjusted the timing, it does run okay. This video features quite a lot of live audio in my workshop, as I try to explain to Andrew about relative scale and sizes. It is a fact that beginners generally over-engineer things, make them too big and too cumbersome. And what follows is a really good example of just what I've mentioned. I'm not showing off because I don't do that, but at the end of this video is a section of another video featuring a Stuart 7A that I made and fitted the valve gear for. What follows is live audio from the workshop.
From a discussion point of view, to improve it, I'd probably like to remake that, because I don't think that's correct. What do you call this sliding? What do you call that?
What, the valve fork?
No, this here.
The expansion link.
Right, so the expansion link, that's the next thing I probably want to remake.
Followed by the valve fork. That knob would be better on a 5A.
I know, but the 7BA one... Oh, I see. You don't think it's to scale?
No, I don't. I think it's slightly overscale.
Now, if you're going to start talking knobs...
I know, sorry, yeah, if we're willy waving, but we're not. And recessed like a bit of art.
Oh, you want a bit of clock making in it?
A bit of rock and roll. Let's close in on it. At the moment, it looks like I don't know what it looks like. So, and that sort of works. Is the whole thing? What's occurring there? Why is that wobbling about?
Because it does.
So is that a taper pin?
Yes.
Is it a taper that I know nothing about?
But since I've run it, yeah, it's loosened off a bit.
Has it really? So if I hit that with a hammer, is that good to tighten up?
Not really, no.
What, did you use a tapered reamer?
Yeah.
Did you make that?
It's not quite a tapered pin. It's more of a stepped pin. Do I remake this bit that I think's wrong? I know I've got to remake that because it's too...
Yeah, okay.
Loose.
What needs remaking, in my humble opinion?
Go on.
The crankshaft's alright. And the flywheel's very nice. And the piston's probably alright. That is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
I know, but I brought it away.
Yeah, but you do things in a very strange way, if you don't mind me saying. It runs with a nice knock at the end of each stroke because there's nothing to cushion it. Everything's going... Ugh!
Yeah, with you.
Yeah. Right, so let's just give it a bit more speed. And what we'll do now is we'll make it go the other way. That's kicking. Now the other way, it goes a lot faster. And obviously it makes... I can't do much with it with this mechanical condition. Like this here.
I'm with you. It's got to be solid, that, hasn't it?
Well, that's why you have to use a taper pin, but the tapers need to match the taper of the pin. I'm saying this for the viewer's benefit, not for yours. But the taper of the pin needs to match the taper of the hole. For instance, on a Morse taper number 2, if you put a Morse taper number 1 into a Morse taper number 2, it rattles about. Well, you're making your own tapers. These are my opinions, and I know you well enough now to say
That's fine.
I'm not saying you're ugly, but I mean, I know you well enough to be able to say stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
That's definitely not right.
No, I agree.
It's moving all by itself. Sort of artificial intelligence in the steam age. And this making this massive protuberance, massively, only because that is too long, then you've made that bigger and moved them out, and so suddenly that is a sort of valve gear you would get on a number 4.
No?
On a number 7 It's
More dainty.
more dainty, yeah. Well, first thing that's apparent is the shaft that you've made on the end of it doesn't fit the holes because it's wobbling about. What did I say? It's awful. And you said, no, it's not awful. You said it's another word that springs to mind is vile. Andrew bought me a present. It is a spanner. It's not a barcode spanner. It's not even adjustable. And it's about as much use as a chocolate spanner, because it is actually a chocolate spanner. Quite novel. 101 things to buy for a diabetic, a chocolate spanner. What is this soft solder around here? What's going on there?
Don't scrape it off.
I'm not doing.
Right,
When
I milled it, in the casting there was a massive hole inside it.
Yeah.
So I filled it.
But had you used silver solder,
It would have been a lot harder.
no, but it would be the same colour. Because soft solder is silver, silver solder is that colour when it's set. So when you grind it, I mean, I've done so many invisible repairs with silver solder.
That sounded
I've got
fine.
some at the moment that is high silver. That is a little bit silverier, but you know, people say, "Oh well, it's silver solder." No, it's not. It's soft solder because that it's a silver colour. When making parts and fittings for miniature steam engines, it's important to keep in mind a sense of scale. And Andrew's not been model engineering for very long, and I really am being hypercritical, but he did ask me. So what's wrong with this? Well, it's a metric Allen grub screw with a massive metric Allen key. So it's a bit big for the job, but anyway, I'm going to put the timing right because for some reason it was right previously, but now it isn't. Good.
Some powers, wasn't it?
Yeah. Does it go through the...
No, that's the mistake I made.
Does it go through the shaft?
Yes.
This is the small mounting that I made for the locking bar. And as you can see clearly, it's now fixed to the special stud that I made using a 7BA nut. I'm pleased to say that the time has come to fit the drop arm in place. First of all, I need to remove it, mark it with a felt tip pen and drill a hole at this point, followed by tapping the hole 6BA to take a 6BA grub screw. On larger valve gear, when I do this job, I would use a taper pin. By drilling a hole all the way through the drop arm and the reversing lever shaft, followed by using a taper reamer so that the taper pin fits firmly in the hole. But because this engine is very small, I'm going to use a grub screw. This is a special grub screw with a bit on the end that marks the metal as you tighten it up. And please note, using a grub screw on this part is not a good idea. I'm really tightening this grub screw in the hole, not because I want it to bite into the shaft excessively, it's just that technically the position is perfect and I want the grub screw to make a mark on the shaft. More about that later. I connected the air line and the engine immediately burst into life. It sounds good too. Nothing's broken yet, that's always a good sign. I haven't tightened up the locking mechanism securely and here it's moving. But that's soon rectified. After I ran the engine for a while, I really did tighten the grub screw a bit more. Immediately followed by untightening the grub screw so I could withdraw the shaft. And the reversing lever shaft has been marked by the grub screw. I'm accentuating this mark with a felt tip pen, then it's over to the drilling machine to drill a very small detent in it like this. And now when I refit the shaft and find the correct position, I can tighten the grub screw into this detent. As you can see, it's gone in a bit further. And now the drop arm cannot move. It feels very solid indeed. Time for a few fast runs. And that is it for this episode of Andrew's Workshop. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. please take the time to visit my main Steam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.